From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the Business, Equity, and Opportunities Podcast with Scott Sander.
Welcome to the Business, Equity, and Opportunities Podcast. I'm Scott Sander. On this episode, we get started with some useful information about getting started. CPA Courtney Kincaid tells us which financial documents to save and how we're growing our industry one new voice at a time.
Every business is unique and has a target audience. If you own or manage a business, Circulus Digital Media can help you connect and grow your customer base with turnkey digital solutions that are nimble, offering best-in-class results, service, and support to reach a bigger customer base, allowing you to pinpoint a specific audience down to the smallest details. Get outside the city, the state, span the globe. Put Circulus Digital Media to work for you. Get started now at circulusdigital.com. That's circulusdigital.com.
The holidays are all about sharing with family. Meals, couches, stories, Grandma's secret pecan pie recipe. And now you can also share a cart with Instacart family carts. Everyone can add what they want to one group cart from wherever they are. So you don't have to go from room to room to find out who wants cranberry sauce, or whether you should get mini marshmallows for the yams, or collecting votes for sugar cookies versus shortbread. Just share a cart, and then share the meals and the moments. Download the Instacart app and get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes. Plus, enjoy free delivery on your first 3 orders. Service fees and terms apply.
We get started with some useful information about getting started. Every journey begins with one step. If you're starting your own business, it could be an INSTEP.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Getting started.
Roger Howard is the Senior Manager of Global Trade for the Indiana Economic Development Corporation.
So the INSTEP grant program is the Indiana State Trade and Export Promotion grant program. So it's a fairly new program to the state of Indiana. It launched in January of 2020, and it's a federal state-funded program. We receive funds from the U.S. Small Business Administration. The INSTEP grant program can be used for a number of what we call export-related activities. So at the top, that looks like trade shows, trade missions, and trade shows aren't just international, so it's not just attending a trade show in Germany, but companies are also eligible to attend domestic trade shows so long as there's a international buyer-seller component, and one of the primary reasons the company is going is to make international sales. But also when it comes to compliance testing, certification for your product, website globalization, there's a whole host of activities, and if there's something that currently isn't stated or listed within our program mandate, we're always happy to have that conversation with the business just to see what might make sense for them in exploring export opportunities. There's a lot of back and forth in terms of, trade and investment is a two-way street, and, this is on our side of what we're doing is engaging with international partners to really elevate the Hoosier companies we have here to explore the opportunities around the world. So it's not just bringing investment here and engaging with the companies, overseas, but also where can we take our companies here and showcase them to the world. We support a ton of small businesses across the state. When we look at our larger corporations, they make a good chunk of, economic development and our trade numbers. But what we're really trying to aim for is supporting the smaller businesses, because that's where a lot of the growth is projected, where a lot of employment comes from. That's correct. It's not just 100 employees. It's not just a certain amount of revenue. It can be either or. And businesses can identify, and what we use to identify what is a small business is the U.S. Small Business Administration's data based on the North America Industry Classification Code. So businesses can declare what that is to best suit their business, but that's how we base it. So it would be either by employment numbers, revenue, but it's not really super defined. Historically, the IADC has never really worked with businesses on trade or exports. It's been focused on international, but that's more of a foreign direct investment realm. So when we're looking at trade, this is a great tool to get businesses out there. Indiana is a a rich exporting state. We rank, as the U.S. Department ranks us, 13th of all 50 states. So how do we support our small businesses across industry sectors? This is one way to do it. And, the mechanics of the program are businesses are able to receive a 80% reimbursement on eligible expenses not to exceed $15,000 annually per calendar year, so January 1st, December 31st. And businesses have been able to utilize that for the last several years, and it's really made a difference in terms of, and we track metrics on employment, revenue from exports, and we've had a lot of great success. And I know we've collected testimonials from businesses, and some are repeat clients because they see the benefits of the program and what it can help them do. The state, we apply for federal funds, but we also match that with state funding as well. So the idea is to keep it around as long as we can, but and our application's open online for businesses now, and we look forward to having funding available in the future for businesses to participate through the program. We work with businesses whether they've been exporting for 50 years or they're new to export, and we're happy to have the conversation to make sure the program fits for them. And we work in hand with our federal partners at the U.S. SBA, the U.S. Department of Commerce. So we're really working off each other to find the right clients, but if we don't think you're ready for the program yet, we'll make sure that you're getting the resources to help kind of set an export strategy plan in place, and the Indiana Small Business Development Center is great for that as well. So I would be the first point of contact, and we have a webpage for the INSTEP grant program, and we're happy to have that conversation. When you think about where the share of the marketplace is and where consumers are, the U.S. makes a very small percent in the global scheme of things. Most of the world's consumers are out there in Europe, Asia, Africa, and there's growing, resources for businesses to really explore those markets. So, it can be daunting. There's a lot of compliance pieces that go into exporting sometimes. So that's why we welcome a conversation, just to see where your business is at, where we can set a plan for the future, and what makes sense for your product, your industry, your service, whatever else, because you're missing part of the growth that's out there for global consumers. I see a lot of opportunity. Indiana's become a very innovative state. We have I work with entrepreneurs every day that have truly unique and innovative products. I have to kind of stop and think, wow, that's being produced or made here in the state. So I think the resources are here. There's an appetite to get out there to have the state lead on trade and exporting, and we're doing that right now. So I think there's no better time to really take that opportunity, especially when we have the resources available to utilize and, see what's out there.
Time for our weekly look at accounting and bookkeeping. For many of us, it's tough to feel confident about whether we hold on to our financial records too long enough, or hold on to them far too long. For the right answer, you can ask your CPA.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities, Accounting and Bookkeeping.
Courtney Kincaid is the CEO and president of the Indiana Society of CPA.
When it comes to document retention, there are a lot of considerations beyond just what you should keep and really thinking about how you should keep it. Coming up with a system that's documented and well understood is critical for business continuity and growth of small businesses. And so when we talk about document retention, we think about various considerations, right? Paper versus electronic. In the post-COVID world, I would say it is much more common that we have paperless environments, which lends itself to a lot of convenience, right? Able to access it anywhere you need to access it. Reliability. Usually there is a lot of redundancy that you couldn't have with a paper in a box. At the same time, that can sometimes be costly for small businesses, and sometimes small businesses lack the equipment to digitize documents in the way they need to be digitized in order to meet requirements. It's important that you work with a CPA or professional to understand what record retention requirements might be for certain organizations or entities. When it comes to what you should keep related to taxes, there's a lot of different advice out there. The IRS suggests both individuals and businesses keep all returns and related documents. So if it's documented anywhere on that return, the support for that that line should be kept with the return. They say indefinitely. We don't necessarily see our professionals, our CPAs, keeping every document forever. And their guidance really does revolve around the audit from the IRS. The IRS has 3 years to audit a return in general. They also, however, have the ability to do it at any point in time. And so that's where the indefinitely comes from. But by and large, those audits are within a 3-year period. So at a minimum, if you have documentation, you're going to want to keep it 3 years from the date you filed. With taxes, that's the federal return. You also have a state return, and you have different requirements by locality. So you want to check with your local area. Your CPA would be aware of what that is to know what the retention policy is there. Your CPA firm also maintains your records for a certain amount of time. So it's a good idea at the beginning of an engagement to talk about what their record retention policy is. As the Indiana CPA Society, we have members of the public contact us frequently about record retention policy and who owns their return and how they can get their return from their CPA. Each case is a little bit different, and there are nuances to it. So we have an ethics hotline that we refer all of those calls to. So when we get a consumer question about record retention from their CPA, what we can do is put them in contact with a member of ours who's on the ethics committee that's a little bit more nuanced in those details and can provide assistance.
It's time for our industry focus. MMPP. 4 letters that mean a lot at Circle City Broadcasting. They stand for Multicultural Media Producer Program. This week's Industry Focus looks at what that means and what it could mean to you. Here's Lena Pringle.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Industry Focus.
Wish TV is proud to launch a new program for anyone interested in becoming a news and media producer. It's called Multicultural Media Producing Program, or MMPP. The special 1-year degree program is open to all students and will be based right here in Indianapolis. The DeJuan and Tina McCoy Foundation, Circle City Broadcasting, Ivy Tech Community College, Indianapolis, and JP Morgan Chase are making this all possible. Ivy Tech will be the first college in the country to create this type of program. The National Association Broadcasters Leadership Foundation and CBS News and Stations have jumped on board with their support. So joining me now to talk more about this whole initiative, we have Stephanie Gostomski, who is the Vice President and Regional Communications of JP Morgan Chase, and Amanda Owen Pride, who's the Department Chair for the School of Arts, Sciences, and Education at Ivy Tech Community College in Indianapolis. So ladies, after that long intro, thank y'all so much for joining us this morning to talk about this new initiative. So Stephanie, starting off with you, why is this commitment so important?
Well, thank you so much for having us. We're so excited to be a part of this pilot program. At JP Morgan Chase, many people know us for our banking. You know, we proudly have 1,400 people that work for JP Morgan Chase in Indianapolis. We have the 50 branches, but we have to go beyond that, right? When we think about corporate responsibility, we know that we have a responsibility to strengthen our communities, but we can't do it alone. So when our great partners locally at Ivy Tech and Wish TV tells us there's a lack of diversity in the newsroom and we have a plan to make a difference, JP Morgan Chase is going to be there, and we're so excited to be a part of this pilot program that's going to expand well beyond Indianapolis into newsrooms across America. We're just so proud to be a part of this initiative.
And you know, you slightly hit on it in your last answer, but how will this partnership help to promote that diversity in the workforce?
Right. We know that a diverse workforce is a strong workforce. So to enable the initiative to bring in these talented individuals and educate this pool of talented individuals that'll take their knowledge and their skills to newsrooms across America, it's just the right solution to a problem that was identified by the experts here in market. You know, at JP Morgan Chase in 2020, we committed $30 billion to help Black, Hispanic, and Latino communities thrive and for future generations to thrive. And this is just one example of many across the country where we're making that investments in markets to help.
And, you know, Amanda, swinging it back to the students. So now we have the backgrounds about how this is being funded, how it's helping. What can the students expect from this program? How long does it last? Kind of break down what that looks like from the educational standpoint.
Absolutely. So the students will complete 9 courses over the span of 32 weeks, with breaks, of course, and they will also engage in a 16-week internship on site here at Wish TV. So they're getting that hands-on experience as well. And at the conclusion of those courses, they will have earned Ivy Tech certificate in professional and community communications.
And we've already kind of hit on what are some of the goals, but especially with Ivy Tech being involved in this, what do you think the overall goal of this new program would be for the students and the organization?
The goal is really twofold. First off, it's to give opportunities to underserved populations to move into leadership ranks in media production that they've historically not been able to be in. Secondly, we're looking to produce a pipeline of underserved communities of multicultural media producers that can then go out into the United States as media producers anywhere that they choose to.
Perfect. Well, thank you all so much. A very layered initiative, and it's great that we were able to get this information out so that people know how to get involved. And if you do want to know more about the Multicultural Media Producing Program, just grab your phone, scan that QR code. It's right on your screen. It will take you to the As Seen On section of wishtv.com, where you can look for this story. We do have posted links on how to apply. And so, Stephanie and Amanda, before we leave, any last words about why this initiative and program can really help people, not only just here in Indianapolis, but around the country?
Yeah, well, we're just so thankful to be a part of this pilot program. We really believe in the work being done here in Indianapolis, and we know it's going to make a difference, not only here, but at TV stations across the country. So we're just proud to be a part of it and looking forward to what's going to come for years to come out of this program.
And we're excited to partner with JP Morgan Chase and Circle City Broadcasting to present students with opportunities that they might not have otherwise thought were realistic for them and help their dreams come true if they are interested in working in this field.
Helping give students options,
Absolutely.
Which is key as we continue to move forward in this day and age. So thank you, ladies, so much for joining us this morning.
Our thanks again to all the contributors who joined us for this episode of the Business Equity and Opportunities Podcast. We hope you found it enlightening, useful, and inspiring. You'll find more information about the show on our website, BEOshow.com. You can watch Business Equity and Opportunities Sunday mornings at 10 on Wish TV or live stream it through wishtv.com. Each week we provide 7 full segments with topics ranging from how to get started and how to access capital to the day-to-day running of your business and questions about accounting and bookkeeping. We feature business news and trends and always share a success story from one of our contributors. Join us next time for more insights into the world of small business. Be sure to sign up for our Business Equity and Opportunities newsletter to get even more valuable, up-to-date information. And if you have any questions or you'd like to be part of our show, please email us. The address is beo@wishtv.com. We'd love to hear from you. I'm Scott Sander. Thanks for listening.
Watch the Business Equity and Opportunities Show on Wish TV and access all of our content and share it on demand anytime at beoshow.com. You can find more podcasts from Wish TV on the All Indiana Podcast Network at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.